G'day guys and gal. The Alpha Legion were, and maybe still are, an insanely powerful legion. They had by far the largest legion during the heresy, evident by their low casualty numbers prior to the heresy, their stable gene seed, their recruitment across many worlds, on top of their actions during the heresy itself, which included attacking Pluto, attacking Lehman Russ, antagonizing the White Scars, all around a similar time frame with different forces. They had a lot going on, but they were also their own worst enemy, with both Alpharis and Omegon orchestrating missions that involved Alpha Legionnaires killing other Alpha Legionnaires. The two heads of the Hydra did not agree on the path forward, which is why the powerful Alpha Legion achieved the least out of all the traitor legions. Now I have spent a while on the Alpha Legion, making a number of super in-depth videos that really get to the core of the question, are they loyalist? So instead of just repeating those videos, I thought I would discuss 5 of their most insane, interesting, and mind-bending missions to show rather than tell about the true nature of the boys in Indigo Blue. Before we get started, that's right, Friday is the day, as we release the next new major mini, the third head of the Hydra, a heavily armored, ornate Hydra captain with some of the most insane detail I've ever put into a miniature. Just look at the dragon heads on the power pack, sword, and gun. This model features quite a few variants as well, including 2 grip styles for each sword with slightly different swords on each grip, as well as 2 helmet variants, one which is more metallic hardcore and has a Spartan-esque plume thingo, with the other getting all snaky. Both are awesome and both are compatible with other wargame tabletop minis, so if you wanted to spice up a different model with the spare head variant that you didn't use, you can. This could be the most detailed major mini to date, bar the Big E. It may look hard to paint, but with the raised scales and indentations, you could wash and dry brush your way to glory on this guy and it would look great. So pick up the third head of the Hydra as well as any of the other major minis like the Shark Daddy, Orc Demon Killer, the Xenonids, which have quite a few models now, or one of the many awesome space elves. Worldwide shipping for only $10 USD or completely free if you spend over $75. Link is below. Today we'll analyze 5 of the Alpha Legion's most insane missions to determine their true motives, if that's even possible. Let's get into it. The first mission really confirms the fact that Alpharis and Omegon do not have unified goals. It's actually the first instance of lore that hints at the Alpha Legion's divided loyalties. The White Scars were stuck in the Chondak system, surrounded by an unnatural warp storm that prevented them from leaving and prevented messages getting in. This was caused by a special secret Alpha Legionnaire space station that was able to generate this warp anomaly. Omegon handpicked an elite squad of Alpha Legionnaires and even gave one of them his blood, which would empower them to become a demi-Primarch and give them access to his memories, more or less making this Marine a fake Omegon. He then told the squad that there was an attempt on Alpharis' life and that they believed that the intel that gave the assassins Alpharis' location was leaked from this base, so they had to do a purge of the base to ensure Alpharis' safety. Now this was total bullshit. No one had tried to kill his brother and the base was full of Alpha Legionnaires loyal to the cause of Alpharius. The squad entered the base, fake Omegon at the lead, and they systematically sabotaged and attacked it, destabilizing it and causing the base to enter into a self-destruct. A handful of the Marines survived and got to the extraction zone, only for the wounded fake Omegon to tell them that he was not their Primarch and that there was no extraction coming. They would all die here as per their Primarch's wishes so that there were no witnesses. The mission itself was crazy. They brought on an alpha level weird bitch psycho chick who did a bunch of voodoo, fake Omegon had to take on multiple Alpha Legionnaires at once, and the fact that Omegon struck out at his brother's agenda so boldly was startling. The result was the warp anomaly was dissipated and the White Scars could now leave Chondax. However, there was more. Omegon himself then led a fleet to blockade the White Scars and antagonize them, keeping them stuck in Chondax long enough for Rogaldon's astropathic message to reach them and warn them of the heresy. Omegon single-handedly ensured that the White Scars would return to Terra and would remain loyal, saving the Imperium. Alpharis was sus as fuck, but Omegon had left no trace or evidence of what happened. While the previous mission had a huge impact on the entire fate of the galaxy, this next insane mission was more so an ego project for Alpharius, who risked so much just so he could throw up the double middle finger to Rogali Dornley. Alpharis mind-swapped himself with one of his greatest generals, so that he thought he was a normal Alpha Legionnaire Marine. He was then painstakingly smuggled into the Imperial Palace alongside a full squad of other Alpha Legionnaires. In order to breach the security, they had to take a drug which would simulate death and was super unpleasant. They then woke up, found scattered bits of light armor and gear, and linked up in the palace. Their objective was a big room that held a statue of each of the Primarchs, with the traitors having cloth put over their faces. During this mission, the Alpha Legion Legion also had coordinated dozens of very loud incidences, a spaceship blowing up with the power of a small sun, an entire starbase injected with fucked up hallucinogens that caused them to go insane, riots and whatnot, basically to distract the Imperial Fist long enough for the Alpha Legionnaires to finish their mission. But Rogali Dornally ain't to be fucked with. He saw through the distraction alongside his Huskal Arcamus, and they rushed to the Primarch statue room. Although the Imperial Fist would arrive before the Alpha Legion expected them to, the first of many underestimations that Alpharis would make about his brother, they were still able to rig up a bunch of explosions. However, the entire squad was killed except Alpharius, who only barely escaped with his life. The kicker is that when the explosions went off, it revealed that it was a controlled demolition that knocked down every Primarch statue except Alpharis's and Rogal Dorn's, which was Alpharis's way of saying, "It's me versus you, brother. I have shown my hand, yet I will still beat you." If one thing during this mission went wrong, let's say maybe Alpharis was held up long enough that Dorn was able to reach him, then the Primarch of the Alpha Legion would have died or been captured, all because of a vanity project. This one mission would kind of set the stage for how the rest of the Alpha Legion's invasion of the Sol system would go, very poorly, as Alpharis would soon find himself turbo dead after this. Stepping away from 30k for a minute, I want to check out one of the Alpha Legion's more recent missions to give us a better idea of where they currently stand. An Alpha Legion warband, called the Unsung, are tasked with infiltrating an Imperial world that contains a special warp beacon and to fuck it up. They were mostly untainted, having chosen to reject Chaos Corruption. The mission is bonkers as the world comes under attack by the World Eaters during their mission, meaning they're fighting their way through the Imperial Defenders and World Eaters, all the while Saint Celestine and Khan the Betrayer are having an anime tier smackdown. There's a hilarious scene when an Imperial Fist captain takes his helmet off and introduces himself to the Alpha Legionnaires in preparation for an honor duel, to which one of the Alpha Legionnaires simply responds, "I am Alpharius," and shoots the unhelmed Imperial Fist in the head. The book is a joy to read, a lot of funny scenes, and the Alpha Legionnaires become super relatable in their reactions. Like when they see Khan the Betrayer, they are like, holy fuck, and it becomes like a slasher horror movie. And then when they see Saint Celestine, they are like, bruh, they have a fucking angel on their side. Guys did not sign up for that level of bullshit. They also speak of their allegiance in the book, saying how they serve neither the Emperor nor Chaos, but simply the Harrow, the true Alpha Legion. But that gets convoluted as there are many fractured Alpha Legionnaire warbands with conflicting ideals that believe themselves to be the true Alpha Legion. As the world is falling to the World Eaters, despite a heroic showing by the Defenders, Saint Celestine gives the beacon to the Alpha Legionnaires as opposed to letting the World Eaters take it, as due to the Alpha Legionnaires' convoluted loyalty, it wasn't the worst of the two options. Perhaps one of the most confusing Alpha Legion missions that even confuses the Alpha Legion, I would say, was the initiation of the Siege of Vrax. See, most Alpha Legion missions that are undertaken are done so by Alpha Legionnaires getting manipulated into achieving the ends of Amigon or Alpharius. It's rare that an Alpha Legion squad knows everything about what they are doing. The Siege of Vrax was the ultimate, wow, that escalated, conflict, starting with a weird priest saying some shit and ending up as one of the largest battles the galaxy had ever seen, all thanks to the Alpha Legion. See, each Imperial warzone is given a certain rating by the Imperium, which determines how many resources they pour into it. A minor Chaos Cult uprising will be put down by guardsmen. If Chaos Space Marines are present, then Loyalist Space Marines are called in. If demons appear, then the Grey Knights go. When Vrax rebelled, it was initially treated as a minor incident. However, there were the beginnings of rituals that would summon mighty demons and turn Vrax into a demon world. Not to mention, calls had gone out to the Eye of Terror to let the Chaos Marines know that Vrax would soon become an epic war zone. The Imperium wasn't really aware of this, so it would have taken them off guard and caused a multi-system crisis. However, a warband of Alpha Legionnaires arrived on Vrax and made themselves known, triggering a massive increase in priority for the world, which in turn brought in more guardsmen and the Dark Angels to the planet. This continued to escalate until there was a shitload of traitor and loyalist marines on each side, millions of mortal soldiers, titans, and then fucking demons appeared. However, the Inquisition and Grey Knights were there to counter them. Vrax was retaken by the Imperium, containing what could have been a massive threat. For some reason, the Alpha Legion fought to the last, ending up all either dead or captured, very unlike them. I am under the theory that Amigan tasked these heavily corrupted, heretical Alpha Legion warband to go to Vrax, which would warn the Imperium of the true threat, and force the Imperium to respond with greater force, thus saving the Imperium a massive potential headache while wiping out a Chaos-aligned Alpha Legion warband. That would have been some awesome, insane 4D chess shit. The last of the insane Alpha Legion missions I want to talk about is when Alpharis managed to successfully perform a mock assassination of the Emperor. I use the word mock here lightly as it definitely wasn't exactly a practice drill. Alpharius had been left on Terra when his brothers were scattered, thus he was raised by Malcador and taught the ways of the Shadow. Even as a young Primarch, Alpharius was incredibly arrogant. He wanted to prove that the Emperor wasn't actually safe and could be assassinated, so he broke into the palace, killed a custodian to take his gear, and he arrived at a sniper's vantage point, awaiting the Emperor to leave his spacecraft before he would then take the shot and snipe him. However, before he could take the shot, which he knew would not be enough to even hurt the Emperor, but that wasn't the point, Valdor intercepted him and engaged him in a duel, Guardian Spear versus Guardian Spear. The duel was short-lived, but epic, both warriors thinking themselves to be the greater, until Malcador stepped in and stopped it. Alpharius explained that he wished to test the palace's security and found it wanting. Valdor countered that he had managed to detect Alpharius' infiltration, which is why he was able to stop him before he could take the shot. Thus the plot was foiled. But then Alpharius hit him with a "but actually" and pulled out a device. It was a button that upon activation would trigger the hacked defense turrets to blow the Emperor's shuttle out of the sky. Now again, this wouldn't kill the Emperor, but it would hurt a lot more than a bolt shell. The exercise had been a success. This mission is actually what inspired the Custodians to begin the Blood Games, where they would take turns attempting to assassinate the Emperor in order to test the palace's defenses and root out any weaknesses. This is why there have been like fuck all assassination attempts against the Emperor. The Blood Games has ensured that the palace's security is so absolute that nothing short of a gigantic army has any chance of breaching the inner palace. For 10,000 years, genius-level demigods have been attempting to infiltrate the palace, demigods who knew the palace's defenses inside and out. So what chance does an agent of chaos have? Fucking zero. This mission also shows off Alpharius' temperament. He believed himself loyal during the heresy, but wanted to try prove it by pulling off some retarded 7D chess move that got himself killed. As I've said before, Alpharius is playing chess, everyone else is playing rugby. Doesn't end well for the chess player. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up the third head of the Hydra. It speaks for itself. Unreal model. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more confusing content. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.